How's it going?
Good afternoon. Doing well, Don. How are you today?
I'm well. I'm well. Thank you.
It's beautiful outside.
Oh man, I had to go out to warm up. My office is freezing right now.
I know, isn't that always the strangest thing? You're like, okay, where am I going to be today? Am I going to put on my sweater and it's 90 degrees outside, but then they keep, yeah. Oh, I get that for sure.
I need to keep one in my office. Our
Yeah.
dental clinic is right behind me, and we're on the same part of the same system in the building. And I don't know what happens. They do something with the thermostat over there, and then it just freezes in my office. Every summer it happens. So. But yeah, so I stepped out about 45 minutes ago. It was, like 85, 90 degrees, and it felt so good actually.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Give folks a few more minutes. My computer decided to restart. Oh, I don't know, about 4 minutes before this meeting started. I was like, oh, sweet. Let's hope it comes back online. Technology. Can't live with it, can't live without it. I'll wait one more minute, see if anyone else is having any issues logging on, and then we can get going here. Let's go ahead and start. I see, ooh, there's one more Jenny. I'll let Marcia kind of sync on, and then we'll get going here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nadia Kleekamp. I'm a prevention coordinator with Chestnut Health Systems, and you are joining us on our fourth ROSC Council meeting for Logan and Mason County. So we'll just get started. We'll have an opportunity. So today will run smoothly. There's an opportunity to have breakout rooms and chat. We will be assigning some homework. It's really easy, don't worry. And we'll get started from here. So go ahead and take it away, ladies.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. For those of you we've seen before, welcome. For those of you we have seen for the first time, we're going to briefly go over again what is a ROSC for any of you who possibly don't know. A recovery-oriented system of care. The goal here and what we're trying to do and trying to accomplish is to build a recovery community organization in Logan and Mason counties. So what that means is all of us are going to work together to improve services and supports for people in recovery within our community. It's a holistic view of recovery. We believe that people can and do recover. So we're working to sort of increase knowledge, reduce stigma, be anchored in our community, and address some of the common barriers to recovery, anything that we might be able to overcome together with some additional funding or some additional networking, communication, all of those kinds of things. So we're so grateful that you're all here, and we're really glad that we are getting to a place now where we're starting to get some real traction, get some real results. So that's very exciting. As most of you probably know, this is not a treatment agency of any kind. We are a nonprofit. We are working within a community with other organizations. So collaboration becomes really important, and it's something that we are going to ask you later here today to help us to collaborate better. So that's something for everyone to keep in mind. All right. We have big news. We've been really, really busy. So Jeanette and I and Nadia have launched our community needs assessment. Thank you for all of you who have completed our survey on either SurveyMonkey or a hard copy. I'm not sure if your organization or group has seen the hard copies, but they're out there too. We are currently sitting pretty with a lot. So I'm going to let Jeanette speak a little bit to where we are because our results are coming in fast.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I'm super, super excited to share because we have been gung-ho for this, just the thought of it, and now to see it in motion and to have gathered so much momentum has been really exciting. So yeah, our goal that we had set and hoped for was at least 250, and was wondering if we'd meet that, and we've already exceeded that. So that's pretty exciting. I just want to echo the thank you as well. We appreciate those that are passing them on. I have been in a couple different settings where sometimes things overlap. So I get to hear people say, I've done my survey, or they will have known about it. So I think that's a positive thing. One thing I do want to highlight, I think is really awesome. Kim Turner reached out to Rod at the jail and asked if those that were having their stay there, right, and could fill out the survey and participate in that. And then I also made the ask of the staff and that as well. And so thank you so much, Kim, for helping to facilitate that connection. And I went there and was able to meet with him. So that's just, exactly, something that we were looking at, the folks being served and the folks providing the service, and hearing what that sounds like when it comes to those questions. What do we know? What don't we know? Where are those gaps? So super excited about that. We continue to make an effort to get out there, to get in those rural, obviously we're very rural counties, but we don't want to forget those places that do have a, post office or a bank, right? Or Casey's, but trying to make sure just to really, get some good feedback as well. Our ratio too, we're pretty happy to see. We want our focus to be as balanced as we can, and we are moving into next week where we're going to hit more of Mason County. But that's where we are as far as the ratio of feedback that's come in already with the 63-37. So thank you. We know that your help and encouragement, participation, hanging up the QR code and just passing it along makes a difference. And this really is, some information that is going to really impact, well, what we do with that information, right, can really impact our community. So I think one of the things I'll just comment on what I've found so far is interesting is a lot of what people don't know. And you kind of, if you've lived here and you're a person with lived experience, you kind of know that. But when you kind of see that truth of what, certain people in certain, positions don't know about recovery or mental health of any kind, it just exposes those gaps. So I'm excited to take this data, which my friend Rachel and Nadia, they can hit that, the numbers and that kind of thing. But thank you for your continued willingness and just helping us get the word out. Can't do without you.
Yeah, thanks, Jeanette. So we're gonna switch screens really quickly. Pardon my little jump in between things. And we're gonna look a little bit at some of our preliminary data on SurveyMonkey for a second. The purpose of doing this and the question that I want to pose before we get started for everyone to think about is, what do we already know about recovery in Logan and Mason counties, right? Because we know a lot already. The interesting thing about the survey is to find out what others know or don't know. Particularly, there's a chunk of data in there from Jeanette actually went to the farmers market in Lincoln over the weekend. I guess it was 2 weekends ago. And those surveys, which we've manually input, it's incredible to me the amount of people who believe that this is a problem. Overwhelmingly, people believe that this is a problem. And overwhelmingly, people recognize that they know someone, they're impacted by this issue. So we feel like there's a huge opportunity, a huge community readiness, and a huge amount of willingness for folks to come together. So that's the purpose of kind of sharing this data. Give me just a moment. And Nadia, maybe you want to talk to some of the readiness stuff you have heard recently while I'm looking for that.
Yes. So anecdotally, and the readiness of Mason and Logan, it's there. I guess, what am I comparing it to? Maybe some of our other counties that are maybe geographically close to Logan and Mason. We are working across the continuum in the strategies that we're implementing, whether it's law enforcement carrying naloxone or primary prevention being taught at all of the local middle schools, all the way through support groups are already in existence, whether it's in virtual or in-person form. That's special. That's awesome that Logan and Mason were there, and now we're ready to get to doing more. And this needs assessment is going to be able to provide us that direction. And so while, are you still pulling it up? While you're pulling that up.
It's here, it's just thinking. Here we go.
Yay. So you're looking at the hard data. So we have 230 responses thus far. There, as we've already said, there's another probably 100 to 200 paper surveys distributed.
We think it's close to 200
Okay.
that are still out.
So there'll be a collection point traveling through the communities to pick all those back up as well. So
we still have about 45 hard copies still needed to be entered in, already collected. So
keep in mind, this is a snapshot. This is not a complete analysis or full assessment yet. So this is where we're at day 15, well, day 17 of conducting this assessment. So y'all can read, but if you
we were just going to highlight a couple of the key questions, not go through each one because that's going to eat up a whole lot of time. But this one for me, I felt was a very telling piece of data. I or someone I know has personal knowledge or experience with substance use disorder or mental health issues. Overwhelmingly, I mean, 73 or so percent say that, yeah, 72% say, yes, I or someone I know. Another huge percent said that they agree. So, I mean, for us, we know that, but to hear that back from our community and from people who, many of whom may be themselves people with lived experience, this is an opportunity for us. We see this needs assessment as the first step in a stigma reduction campaign, especially when we're out dealing with members of the public, like Jeanette was with the farmers market. It's an opportunity to connect with people and to hear from people. Yes, this matters. Yes, this is something that our community needs to work on. So I wanted to highlight that, as well as overwhelming percentages here. You know, here's 72% and almost 20%. So 90% almost believe that substance abuse is a problem in our community. Yeah, we know. It's good to know. It's good to have the data to support that. And what we do with it is going to be really important. Those same people who know that this is a problem do not believe that existing services are adequately meeting the whole person needs of people in recovery. So here's almost 50%. Here's 40%. Again, we know that, but hearing that back should be a wake-up call. It should be that readiness wake-up call that there's something to be done here. And there's probably people that care about it. So in the back of our minds, this should communicate who are those people, who can get involved, and what can they offer. Be thinking about that because we're going to come back to it later. People know that there's loss of opportunity for folks who are struggling. You know, we know that. Everyone knows that. It gets a little dicier as we go, as we get on here and we start seeing more and more orange, which is this don't know category. For example, people aren't sure about barriers in the same way that they were sure about other things. When we go down further, where did it go? Here we go. People have no idea. The ones who do have an idea know that nothing exists for community funding to help people to get into a sober living facility. We are also aware that there are not adequate sober living facilities, but this number here, this 31.8%, that number comes from general population, primarily, of people that don't know. They're like, wow, I'd never thought about the fact that somebody leaving treatment doesn't have anywhere to go. So we see that 31% as a first little tick in the stigma reduction side of things. Again, just going to highlight, and anybody who's super curious about any of this data or would like a more detailed breakdown, we are going to be presenting our final needs assessment packet, I guess, next month. So we'll have that ready to go and ready to send into the state by next month. So I'm happy to talk about it if anyone really wants to get in the weeds about numbers. But as we get to the end here, we had a few comments, and I'm going to let you all read that. And I don't know about you all, but that sounds to me like the voice of someone who has experience. That sounds like the voice of someone who's not being served. And that sounds like someone who has given up on their own community. And we're not going to let that happen. So what we're here to do is to change this narrative. And this data is the first step in doing that. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing here and go back to the other. Does anyone have anything they take away from this, or any comments about maybe their experience taking the survey, or if it was something that they've seen or heard back from people? Does anyone want to jump in? Nobody? That's okay.
I did provide, so if you are participating in this meeting and you haven't had the opportunity, I did put the link to the survey in the chat. So you can save that and do it later. It probably takes about 5 to 7 minutes to complete.
Yeah, and please feel free to continue to share it, continue to plug it through the end of June. We're going to be collecting data through the end of June.
Can I
All
knife
right.
in real quick?
Yeah, please.
I almost forgot to share this, and I thought it was very special. I was able to attend a meeting there at Unity Point, right? Did I say the point or place? I get messed up. I apologize. But I got to go to a meeting there. One, the QR code was right there in front. That was just great to see. And sitting in the meeting, I didn't know anyone that was there, but just listening, and people kind of were making announcements, and a young lady made the announcement of the survey, and she didn't know who I was. So I was just kind of listening, and the way she shared about it and trying to get the information, and was really encouraging people to fill it out. And I just found that very special. Then I was able to introduce myself and tell her, that I was part of that. And it was good information. It was accurate information being shared. And I think that's what excited me too, but that it was being shared amongst those who are really trying to hear from. So I love that. And that was a really neat experience.
Awesome. Well, if no one has any feedback, feel free also to email Jeanette or I or Nadia anytime if you have anything, if you see anything or see an opportunity for someone else to fill it out or to share it. Knock yourself out. The more the merrier. All right, so we have a lot going on ahead of us too. And this is the part where we hope to collaborate. The goal of the ROSC is not for the three of us to do everything. The goal is to build something foundationally that's going to stand long after all of us stop working on it. So the collaboration is key. That's our primary objective with this council, as well as with all of the work that we do in Logan and Mason County. So our breakout groups today, we're going to talk together. We want to hear from you all. We want to hear, what do we think? Because Jeanette and I have spent a lot of time talking about what potential areas of focus for the next phase of our project. After we wrap up the needs assessment and we see the data there, we are also going to talk later about focus groups and key person interviews, which makes Nadia very happy. And so in addition to those things, what are some areas of focus that you see the community wanting to be involved in? And by community, I mean all of us, as well as anyone else who might want to be getting involved. So some examples of things like that we've come up with are that stigma reduction campaign, which will go across the board, social media, in person, all sorts of things like that. Kind of connecting available resources and streamlining services, which we see as a potential really useful piece of what we can do with our time. And then also building up awareness of the ROSC, building up opportunities for networking and connection, either through events or something else like that. So that's kind of what we want to chat about today. So, Nadia, do you have groups ready to go?
I do.
Excellent.
It kind of worked out well. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone. We have 3 groups of 5.
Perfect.
So I will try and put these questions in the chat as well. These will be your discussion questions. So we'll take probably between 7 and 10 minutes to work amongst your group. And we will like to have a share out too. So while in breakout room discussion is great, we want to hear as a large group too, your feedback.
Right, and group consensus is not needed. Anybody can chime in at the end. we just kind of wanted to start planting the seed of what are we excited about? What do we feel like we can have impact? I used to say all of the time that effort without impact is waste. And the last thing that any of us want to do is waste our time or resources when we could be using them to make an impact. So that's what this is all about.
Okay.
All right, we're ready, I think.
All right, I will begin. Here we go.
I'm in Logan. So I'm in Logan County, so doing that needs assessment right now. Along with them, I mean, they're an excellent resource. I'm also in Menard County, which is very low access. So it's great to see these coalitions going on right now, bringing services to people.
So I'm Kim with probation. I also do drug court and veterans court.
I'm Becky, social worker with Mason District Hospital. I work out of the Havana Medical Associates office. I am outpatient behavioral health therapist.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I am completely brand new to all of this. I am brand new at drug court, and I am brand new full-time employee with Memorial Behavioral Health in Lincoln. So I'm excited to be here and figure all this out.
Don't mind me. I realized last time I had the meetings recorded, I didn't jump into any breakout rooms, and it was just a recording of my face for about 25 minutes. So I'm in the room so we can hear part of your discussion and share it with more people.
So for me, I don't live in Logan County. And then obviously I don't directly work there. I'm just starting to work there past month or two. So I don't know what residents would see as the top priority, but for me doing the needs assessment, I think it's very important that the resources are available to people because I have done hours and hours of research trying to find AA meetings, any type of recovery things going on, and I'm having trouble finding it. So if somebody is, wants to go into recovery, they are using substances at this time, they might not have those hours and hours to research.
Them, and then I don't know why, but then we're back to square one, and then we start over talking about what are the issues, what are the barriers, and some things have changed. I think it's a lot better than what it was 6 years ago, but I guess I would like to see more, and for the community to see more action of what's going on, what's happening, both good and bad. So as far as what are the statistics in the community, as far as what does usage look like out there? What is the trend? Different things like that, different and information to the community as far as not only what's going on, but what are just some education, I guess, as far as stigma, barriers, the whole ball of wax. I guess I'm just saying that we talk and we do these things, and then some things change, but some things don't. So it's just frustrating. Sorry, I went on a tangent there.
Debbie, I
But
appreciate the honesty. I think we all can, admit to feeling a sense of that. That's very real. And I totally get that. Do you feel as though we are, however, in some new season? I feel like something has shifted that I've not seen before. Do you feel like you've seen some of that, Debbie?
yeah, I think with all these ROSCs and all the grant money, that's positive. That's all in a positive direction. I guess just, making people aware of what's going on so that, I think sometimes people, when the opioid crisis was at its height, everybody was seeing what was on TV or, was so much in the news, and now it's all kind of not so much in the news. And so people think, oh, it's over, or, oh, well, that's not a problem anymore. And so I think
finding that balance, finding that balance between what is attainable and, what is needed, I think is the great challenge of this field. And so addressing barriers, though, I think is something that we can absolutely have on our radar and be chipping away at, and welcome collaboration and ideas for how to do that. Don, do you have anything that feels like a top priority to you?
Well, first thing came in my mind, and I don't know if this is in year 1 or year 2. I guess it all depends on what we find out when we identify the barriers and who we need to play, is identifying all of our partnerships and who we need to get involved with us. And that's one thing that, when that question was thrown out, that's the first thing that hit me. Who do we get involved? Who do we get to engage with us to, help us meet all of our goals for what we want to accomplish here?
Has that been, I'm sure that as the Chestnut team is getting together a lot more frequently than this once a month meeting, that is probably certainly something that is a top priority, strategic priority. Yeah.
Possibly our top strategic priority at this time.
Sure, coalition building is serious business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we really, I can't stress enough how much we do not want this to fall apart when we leave. So anytime any person leaves anything, there's a transition period. What we're trying to do foundationally is to build something within the community that is community supported. Mm-hmm. So trying to find a way to get as many of the right people to the table. And this is, again, I'm going to come back to it later in the meeting. But that is what we're trying to do right now, is to make those connections, to have our, have our table set and be ready, and have people know that we're here and know that we have manpower and funding and some push behind to address some of these issues, and also to build something that will address these issues long term. So that's our goal. That is, if I were to answer this question, that would probably be my answer as well, is to make sure that we are talking to the right people, to make sure that we are offering opportunities for networking, to offer opportunities for collaboration, so that the whole community can come together around these issues and really, say we're going to tackle, and maybe it becomes like, we're going to tackle these barriers, or we are going to have, a recovery cafe. We're going to have a place that people can come that is a safe and sober place. And somebody gets behind that and says, I'm going to do it. And they do. And we can support that as much as possible. We certainly don't have the funding for doing it ourselves. So it becomes an everyone together lifting.
Yeah. Do we have, forgive me, I've been in, I think, two meetings, prior meetings, but not the most recent prior meeting. Do we have an ally in law enforcement that's a member?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We have several allies in law enforcement, actually. I know Kim Turner
know
is
Kim's
in
in
another
there.
group.
Yeah.
And then we do have some, as Jeanette was speaking to a little bit earlier, some connections at the jail in Lincoln,
Okay.
as well as a couple of, I'm assuming that, I do not recall his last name, Nadia, the officer who was at our meeting number 2.
Cunningham?
No.
Mm.
What did you say, Marcia?
Rod Boyd.
We've talked to him. Yeah, Jeanette just spoke with him.
Officer Butterfield joined me week 2.
Correct. Yeah,
There we go.
that's who I was
Month
thinking.
2.
Thank you,
So
Shelby.
I like Don's comment about, perhaps as a priority, year one priority is really coalition building. And
Mhm.
and so hearing that there's some law enforcement membership is important. It can kind of work the other way sometimes. I think with perceptions, I think some folks that are in recovery or somewhere along that journey can sometimes be dissuaded by groups that have membership from law enforcement. That's just like a long-term changing of hearts and minds kind of thing that goes on for many parties, but I would say for the law enforcement folk, as well as the folks that might be in recovery with some scarring, let's call it. And then faith leaders, I feel that is an important slice of membership. And I don't know the profile that this Logan Mason ROSC has in terms of membership and affiliated organizations and things like that.
And we honestly, Josh, we honestly want as much representation as possible from anyone who is impacted by this issue, which is everyone. So if somebody has a grandson who is in jail and she wants to get involved, she's like passionate about this issue and says, you know what, I'm retired, I've got nothing else to do, bring her. Like she might have the capacity to push a whole group of people that would otherwise not get involved. So there's all sorts of ways that people can help. And what we're trying to do is figure out what those ways are and figure out how we can have that impact, how we can get this whole community behind this issue.
I'm on a mental health advisory committee that we just started here a couple of years ago. And we have 7 members, people who are involved, who are behavioral health professionals. And I'm sure our next meeting, I'd be happy to kind of throw out this, our group, our ROSC, and what it's about. And perhaps they have some other groups that they know of that might want to get involved. So I think it's better
Awesome.
just get the word out. So
Yeah, bring them. The more the merrier, and the more, this is not an instance where there could be too many cooks in the kitchen. It's a big kitchen. There's
Yeah.
plenty of work to do. We all know that. So if we can touch back briefly, we're going to close out in 60 minutes or 60 seconds. Barriers to recovery, we've talked about a little bit. Do you feel like there's anything that might be low-hanging fruit that we would be able to try to address, that feels urgent, but we could try to address it?
Can we get vouchers in people's hands to take and use the show bus to get around? I mean,
It's a great idea.
Can we figure out a way to leverage some funding, or I don't know, just could we put that together? That might be fairly low hanging.
Or even seeing like what funding is already available. So like some insurances would actually cover like transportation to and
Transit.
from.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know if their insurance covers it. So just having that available.
And yeah, maybe we could have some kind
Welcome back. I tried to give my little prompts and how much time. I hope I was sitting in several of your breakout rooms. Hopefully your discussion was fruitful. And so with that, does anybody want to share? Is that a good option? I realize we have 20 minutes left.
I'll share on behalf of our little corner of the breakout rooms. We discussed a year one attainable, making sure we're balancing ambition and something that's actually able to get done, and talked about coalition building as a perhaps a good year one priority. And of course, maybe that's just like an all the time, like duh kind of statement. But we also described transportation as a barrier that might serve as low hanging fruit, where we can get something done to address that in the shorter term.
Thank you.
We also talked about transportation as a barrier. Apparently, maybe one of the focuses should be also getting the word out. I mean, the people that were informed or kind of know where to look in this group didn't know the information that we even have locally. So we're not doing a very good job, apparently, of getting that information out.
And I was wondering, Nadia, would you be able to post or on the chat the resource website?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I couldn't remember the website or like how to get there.
I put both the Mason and Logan County. It's masoncountyresources.org and logancountyresources.org.
Okay.
It's a pretty, or it's a Google site. It's nothing pretty, but there's quite a bit of content that's searchable on there. Anybody else? Oh, yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Rachel. I'm interrupting you. Go.
Oh,
You're
okay.
fine.
So thank you all for participating in our little breakout groups and for sharing. I think, as I said earlier, we're all.
I'm gonna knife in real quick. Sorry.
Oh,
I think
please.
the
Knife
other
away,
Rachel,
Jeanette, right here.
well, the other Rachel was about to share, and
I didn't
so
see.
we
Okay.
heard two Rachels. So I just thought,
Sorry, other Rachel.
It's okay. There are two Rachels, so I was like, oh wait, maybe that wasn't me. But we did have a few top priorities. One again was said that we do have a lot of awareness in the community about the problem, but not about the services that are offered. So very similar. But also I want to get the community to see the good and bad trends. So giving more education and talking about the stigma and barriers that people have to services. Again, more resources for the community to know about when we are doing community outreach. We did talk about getting those stats from the ALMH and the fire department, see where can we pull those stats from to get that information to the community. Peer support was mentioned, training and resources for developing more peer support in our community as well.
Awesome, thank you. And those are, yeah, I feel like if we had unlimited time and money, we still wouldn't be able to address everything year one, but we are, I think having an idea of where we're going is really important. So Nadia's favorite part of our meeting today, I want to make sure we get to. This has been a long time coming, I hear. So Nadia, I'll let you jump in on focus groups.
Thanks, Rachel. So as we're doing this assessment piece, this survey that is out is going to give us some really good quantitative information. And so all you data folks out there know what I'm going to say here, but we also find value in the qualitative. And so a strategy to look into is to pursue conducting focus groups. And I don't mean just like pulling a group together and asking questions, like a strategically planned focus group where we are recruiting participants. There'll be 3 to 4 groups of discussions, specific laid out questions, continuing to conduct these groups until we start identifying trends and hearing similar things, right? That's what a good focus group looks like. And so part of that is asking the council to help with that, either be a participant or help recruit participants. In addition to that is doing key informant interviews or key stakeholders or key person interviews, and looking at the chance to give people the opportunity to tell their story. So we have this hard data, these statistics, their data tells a story, but then having that actual story to be paired with this data is just as powerful. I know some of you have been working in these communities for a very long time. This has been something that we've identified that needs to take place probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. We're like, we need to conduct focus groups. We need to. I am very interested. We are in the position, we have the staffing and the buy-in to actually conduct these and do it well. So yeah, so mark your box if you're available or you know someone. You can message me or we can draw if you like to
Yeah, you
draw.
can draw on the box. You can do a cool little stamp in there.
So for sure.
And we're just gonna make sure that everyone of course is going to be invited to participate, whether they're able to be at this meeting or not. But we're curious. Is there a preference in one direction or another?
Thanks, John, for sharing your gold star.
Yeah. And it's early. So the kind of timeline with that is we'll be wrapping up the assessment piece and then work on the planning. So we'll be implementing these focus groups probably later part of summer into early fall is what we're looking at. So more information to come. I don't want to take up too much more time.
I have a question about that.
Sure, Kim, go.
The other ROSC group, the McLean County ROSC group, did they do focus groups also?
I think they did it a little differently than what we have done.
Okay.
Okay.
I will say in talking with Nell Hurley, who's our coach, if you will, she's from the lady from Minnesota. I said, hey, you know, this is our strategy. What are you thinking? Her feedback was like, yes. And she sent us some kind of guidelines, feedback, strategies she used when conducting her focus groups in Minnesota as well. So I feel strongly that we're on the right track, that this will be a good addition to have. And even broadening it, being able to hear more from the community will be able to provide us with so much more information across not only the substance use continuum, but just community health needs in general as well. So, okay, I'll stop talking. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. So as many of us know, September is National Recovery Month. So we thought it would be lovely if we could do something, even a small sum.
She froze. Okay. I don't have the slides, but we're going to take over. So we would want to do something for Recovery Month. I don't even have them pulled up. Can you all hear me? Okay, we'll go right there. So we want to hear feedback and ideas. So is that doing a recovery walk? Is it doing a kickball tournament? Is it having, we're open to ideas and suggestions, but this is that tangible activity that the council can do and work on. So Jeanette, what am I missing? What else did we want to say about that?
No, that's definitely what, the ask is, we have September being recovery month. We have folks on here that have been asking, where can they put in some, what can I do? Because sometimes we feel like, just sitting on these meetings is not necessarily doing something, although it's very, very important. But this is an opportunity for those who do enjoy, planning an event, want to be a part of that, have suggestions on what that could look like. We want to hear from you. Again, as when Rachel started, this is something that we need to get used to doing and partner with, and building that muscle to learn how to strengthen that to be ongoing and regular. So, yeah.
Yes. All right, let's see if my share screen will work. Here we go. Can you see that? So the next steps for this then is to hear if anybody really has a passion or would like to be on the planning part of something for Recovery Month. We want to hear from you. So yeah, I'm trying to make so I can see all spaces. Here we go.
Thank you, Marcia.
So yes, please reach out. You can let us know in the chat, or so as aside from what the main monthly council meetings will be focused on, we'll be having like a subgroup working on Recovery Month and what that looks like, what we'll be doing, taking into account or navigating. We have 2 separate counties. What are we asking? How is that going to look, or what will it look like? So yeah, let's keep it moving here. Go ahead.
I just sorry, knifing it again here. So just wanted to give an update. It's that Rachel's computer died or shut down, restarted. That's what happened to mine. So now I'm on my phone. It must have happened at the same time. So just communicating that if that wasn't known.
No, that's okay. Well, that's probably what happened to mine before this meeting started. I guess we're major computer updates. Who knows?
Chestnut sabotaging his stuff.
No, I think we're just updating file servers. Or Randy shaking her head. Yeah. Whatever. Okay. No, we're good here. Let's
But just looking in the chat, I see that Teresa's mentioned a walk. I know that that's something that we have done with minimal supports. However, like there's 2 walks that we have done here in Lincoln. The second year was more involved, and Kim was a big part of that, and there was other folks that came and helped to make that a good event. However, it's kind of one of those things, if there's not a person identified that is going to keep it going, it fizzles out. So, but those are the kind of, ideas and suggestions that, understanding that this is year 1 and understanding that, to have, make room for opportunity to build, that it's not necessarily, it being some big bash of some sort, but rather the impact that we make is the focus. So who out there is interested in planning an event for September?
I'm interested.
All right.
Are you writing this down, Jeanette, or should I be?
I'm writing it down.
Okay, you got it. Awesome.
I got it.
Thank you. This is exciting, and it's Kim, were you gonna say something?
I hear, well, Sam mentioned a speaker jam, and I do think that's a good idea because I always hear really positive things about that, and the clients seem to get very excited about it. They really enjoy it, so that may be a good idea.
Yeah. Okay, speaker jam. I also see food and picnic suggestions or block party anytime. Food brings people together, right? Hopefully restrictions are lifted, or we'll ask a food truck to come on over, right? So Jeanette has a list. We'll be sending out a follow-up and have a separate recovery month planning meeting when we'll coordinate with everyone that has expressed interest and get that going. Because that's super exciting, but we're in June, we're 3 months out already. So we gotta get moving on something for sure. I think Rachel's joining us again too.
Hi, everybody. Sorry about that. I had an unexpected computer restart issue. It just shut down. Sorry about that.
Oh, when is the Rails? I'm trying to keep up with the chat here. The Rail Splitter event. Rachel, do you know when that is, or you put it in the chat? Or in addition to that, anybody know?
I do not.
Okay, we'll make a note of that. And find out more happening.
It looks
Thanks,
like it's
Lynn.
scheduled for
Yeah.
February 18th and 19th.
Tell me that again, Shelby.
Looks like September 18th and 19th.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. All right. Rachel, do you want to share their homework with them? Getting back
Yeah,
on. just to make an
sure. Sorry
assignment.
about that, guys. Had a unexpected computer restart thing. So we'll hopefully see you all next month on July 15th. We'll send a Zoom link about a week before. This month, we want everyone to think about, how do we fit in? Where do you fit into our planning? Where are some people hiding, for lack of a better word, that might want to also be part of planning? That coalition building, as we've said, is of paramount importance. So that's really our goal. This next phase here is building up, getting the word out, and making sure that we are all, doing what we can to get the ROSC planning underway and to make year one as impactful as possible. Nobody likes sitting around talking about things without getting anything done. So the goal is for us to get some things done also.
I have one more thing that I don't want to forget, because it is another thing that I may be calling on you next. One of the things we're doing to educate and promote, information sharing is YouTube. We have a YouTube channel and our different social media outlets. And, the plan is to feature agency and what, on those, and to be able to share that, to be able to feature, one of you on the council, and one by one learning who is at the table, and also having questions and discussions out in the community to hear what community folks are, what does recovery mean to you, and record some of those, and what folks are thinking and saying, and that kind of thing. So I want to already appreciate Don for setting an appointment with me to sit down and have a conversation. And I look forward to spending time that way, one, to connect and collaborate, to really get to know what folks are doing, but also to find and help get that out in a new way, using the social media outlet. So.
Yeah. Check that out if you haven't already done so.
Like us, follow us, share.
Yes. If you need that needs assessment link, it's posted on Logan County Recovers and Mason County Recovers on Facebook. You can find that if you are on Facebook. Yes, so as we mentioned, July 15th is the next council meeting. Be looking for your email, especially if you expressed interest in working on the planning part of the Recovery Month activities. That meeting will probably take place prior to our next council meeting for sure. But with that, thank you all for your time today and your commitment to help serve Mason and Logan County, and enjoy your afternoon in the beautiful sunshine.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.